All right, let me share my screen. I'm gonna do slideshow. Can everyone see my screen fine?
Yes, it's good.
Perfect. All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Sharen Abi Nader. I am also an incoming dental student, so I'll be starting dental school in September, hopefully, of this year. A little bit about myself. Sorry, there you go. So I was born and raised in Lebanon up until the age of 18. So I moved here a few years ago, not too long ago. And I have 3 fur babies. This is Bella right here. She's a Bernie Doodle, 5 months old, little puppy, very spoiled. Then I have 2 huskies. They just keep me busy all the time. And then I love traveling, and this is my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I travel all the time. Every break that we get, winter, Christmas, whatever you call it, we travel, we go somewhere else, we explore everywhere. It's just our passion, and we love doing that. I'm gonna start by going through my education. So I did not have a traditional path. I did move here when I was 18, and since I moved a little later when applications were, so I had to go to community college. I went to Glendale Community College from 2018 to 2020. I got my AS in biology and my AA in French. Quick fact, I speak French, English, Armenian, and Arabic, and a little bit of Spanish. I also transferred to UCLA, where I got my bachelor's in biology. That was from 2020 to 2022. So I did graduate last June. And then I started my master's. It's a 1-year master's through the Keck School of Medicine at USC. And the master's is a stem cell biology and regenerative medicine master's degree. If you guys are interested in it, please DM me on Instagram and we can definitely chit chat about it. A lot of people love doing a master's during their gap year, and this is a very valuable one so that you can stand out during your application cycle. So during my time at Glendale Community College, I was majoring in biology and I minored in French. I divided the slides in such way where you can basically see what I did during my time at each school, from work experience to volunteering to leadership and extracurriculars. So I did work as a French tutor at the Learning Center as well as a biology tutor, and I did babysitting and nannying. That's a really good side hustle for anyone interested. I also did some volunteering. I was part of the Girl Scout movement at HBU. I was actually in Scouts since I was 4 years old in Lebanon. And when I came here, I wanted to join HBU again. And I was promoted to senior Girl Scout leader. And basically, I did that for a few years and I retired last year due to my application cycle and having to focus on dental school. But through that, I was able to do a lot of volunteering, obviously, for the Girl Scouts Gold and Silver Awards. And what I did was like homeless shelter volunteering. And then I also did separately the Burbank Community Clinic pediatric office volunteering, where I would go work with doctors, help kids if they're nervous, like make them feel better. And then I would obviously have a crew to help clean up the place as part of our volunteering. As you know, there's also UCLA Care Extender program, which is similar to the Adventist volunteering program. And I did that for about 3 years and I loved it. I got exposed to different specialties, and actually that was what pushed me to want to pursue dentistry, because I was able to shadow an oral and maxillofacial surgeon during bullet, like a straight bullet shot to the face reconstruction surgery. And then I also did a lot of dental shadowing. I started shadowing my own dentist because for dental school, there's a requirement where you need to shadow a general dentist and not a specialist. So you need to be careful when you're doing that, because then those units will not count for your application. And in regards to leadership and extracurriculars, I can definitely say that the bulk of my extracurriculars, volunteering and work experience was in my community college. I maxed out on everything I could have done. I was in the Scholars Honors Program, which had a guaranteed transfer to a few schools. That was amazing. And they have a TAP program for UCLA transfer, which helped me out. And then I was also in AGS, and I was also in student government. I think student government was one of the top experiences I focused on for leadership for my application. I was a senator of finance. It was something that is non-traditional in a sense that it's not dental related. And I was just following my passion. Same thing, if you see, I also did the United Nations Model UN program. I taught public speaking to a lot of middle school and high school students competing in the biggest global classrooms, United Nations Model UN program in New York at the headquarters. And I ran that entire program. We had almost 3,000 students participating. And this is something that I love doing from a diplomatic standpoint. And I believe that, you should always stand out during your application, do stuff that you feel passionate about and doesn't have to be dental related, and just say how that's going to help you later on when you become a dentist. As for UCLA, I transferred during peak COVID time, so I could not really join a lot of clubs or join a lot of activities or volunteering. So this is more limited. That's why you see much less than a GCC. But I did minor in biology, and the biology degree is under the ecology and evolutionary biology department. So I had a lot of field experience. It was less human bio and more plant and ecology. As for work experience, during COVID, I could not really find any jobs related to dentistry. So I wanted to do the best out of it and get, patient experience. So I decided to work as an optometric assistant here in Glendale. And that experience was amazing. It taught me how to talk to patients, how to do pre-op procedures, how to really be able to work with patients one-on-one. And it built that confidence in me to be able to actually apply to dental assisting jobs. And they actually asked me during my interview in one of the schools that I applied to as to why I did optometric assistant. Like, was I considering optometry at some point? And I told them no. Like, at that point, this was the only opportunity I had available, and I wanted to make the best out of it. And I was able to work as an optometric assistant and learn how to do patient care and how to talk to a patient and how to organize and run my clinic. Let it be from a regular physician's office, an optometric assistant, or a dental office, they all run their practices the same way. So understanding the concept of that was really important. And I wanted to tackle that experience as early as possible. I then was able to land my first dental assisting job. And I had to get actually an X-ray certification for that, which I encourage everyone to get it. Now, it's very common. A lot of students have been getting it. It's about $500. The Valley School of Dental Assisting offers it. It's a 3-day course once a week. So in a month, you'll have your certification. It's a great opportunity to stand out on your application. And then I also worked at the UCLA Oral Pathology department, and that's through the UCLA School of Dentistry. I definitely encourage you, if you're taking a gap year, to try to find a job within the dental school. That's a great stepping stone for you to communicate and have this good relationship with admissions. As to volunteering, I did the Union Rescue Mission homeless shelter volunteering in downtown. That was through the USC School of Dentistry. So if you do not know, fourth-year dental students actually at USC get to work on homeless population in Skid Row, LA. And what I did was go to downtown. I would go escort homeless populations in and out of the building, since it is a guarded building. And then I would help out the students since I was X-ray certified. That's a great way of doing public service and volunteering. And I obviously continued doing dental shadowing. As for leadership and extracurriculars, I was part of PATHS. PATHS, it's a new club at UCLA that's began in 2021. It's like a pre-advisement for like health students. So similar to the Armenian Pre-Health Society, but it's open to everyone on campus. And we have many committees, such as like dental or medical or PA, even law. It can be any type of well, it wasn't really health, but they added other clubs to help other students participate, and it wasn't like an advisement club for them. and I was a dental coordinator for that club. I was also part of PDSOP, which is a pre-dental club at UCLA, as well as the pre-dental ASDA committee. And I was also part of USC Dental Explorer. USC Dental Explorer is a summer program. If you're looking to do something dental related at USC this summer, the application opens up in June. I definitely encourage you. You'll learn how to carve on soaps, how to do suturing. It's a really fun experience. You get to really meet people from admissions because this is run by admissions itself and it's not run by students. So it's a good way to meet the counselor, get to know her, and just, put your name out there so that once they see the application, they're like, oh, she actually, or he actually came to the Dental Explorers, and I remember who that person is. Finally, I was still in the AGBU as part of the Senior Girl Scout leadership. I also flew to Utah last year for a Roseman pre-dental. Roseman is a really good school in Utah. It's one of the only 3-year programs similar to the University of the Pacific that is in San Francisco. So I flew there just to make connections. It landed me an interview, so I can definitely say it was worth it to fly to Utah for that. And nonetheless, I also did my X-ray certification, as I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna pause right here. Do you guys have any questions so far?
How long did you say the Dental Explorer program was?
It was about, I think, 3 to 4 days. I
Okay.
think 3 days actually, and it was really fun. When I did it, it was over Zoom, but I think they are doing it in person. You get to see the sim clinic, and it's actually nice because you get to interact with dental students and ask them questions.
Okay, and then do you like apply or it's like you just sign up and go, or how does it work?
So you actually have to apply. You write a small paragraph as to why you want to do it and how that will push you to become like a good dentist, or it's going to benefit you in a sense. And then they'll review it, and then they'll accept a group of people.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Other questions?
There's a question in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, but someone's asking where and how can you get X-ray certification?
Absolutely. So there's the Valley Dental Assisting School of Dental Assisting. That's what it's called. It's in Sherman Oaks, and if you can apply to it, I think they have openings every month. It's a 3-day program where, like, first day you go, it's lecture. Second day you go, it's like mock practical. So they teach you how to set up the X-ray and how to take it. And then third day you have to take a full set of X-rays, and then they'll evaluate you, take a written test, and then you'll pass it. It's very quick. Everyone who's done it has passed it. It's a very resourceful thing to have. Nonetheless, like, if you have that, it's a good argument to get a dental assisting job because then you have a certification to be able to work. Here in California, you don't need to be a certified dental assistant in order to be able to work as a dental assistant, as long as you have your certification.
Okay, and then we have one person raising their hand if you want to speak, Hamlet.
Excuse me, you were just talking about the X-ray certification, right?
Yes.
And like usually, how long does it take the whole process? Is it like 1 or 2 day or probably a week to just pass everything and
It'll take about a month just because you go, usually it's on either Tuesdays or Saturdays. So you do every Tuesday until the month is over. So it's 3 days technically, but overall it'll take you about a month to get it.
okay, and I think X-ray basically is the main thing to get into the like dental assistant field, right?
Yeah, you need to know how to take x-rays because I think that, that's the first thing you do once you start seeing a patient, like before the doctor walks in, you need to take x-rays, bite wings, so that the doctor can see what they need to do, if it's preventative or not. So it's really crucial for you to have that. I know some offices train you, but it's illegal to really take x-rays without a certification. But in a sense, if you're applying compared to someone who doesn't have any certification, then you're one step ahead of getting that job in a sense, and you'll get the confidence from the dentist to hire you.
And for like doing a perio or just regular cleaning, deep cleaning for that one, is there another like certification you have to get, or?
So you're not allowed to do any perio treatment. That's only for dentists, as well as deep cleanings. Deep
Mhm.
cleanings are only administered by dentists or by dental hygienists, but you can do coronal polishing. It's a separate certification. So after cleaning, you get to polish the teeth. It's also an
Yeah.
certification to get, and it's a good way to learn how to work on patients. I actually just got it about a few months ago, and that helped me a lot when I was working, because then the dentist would just trust me, do the cleaning, leave, and I would do the polishing, flossing, and escort the patient out. We were able to see more patients that way.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, that's another like benefit for you, like before transferring to university, right? You're just one step ahead if you got a
Definitely. Yeah,
certification.
definitely. I actually, so my boyfriend is in dental school right now at UCLA, and he also was a dental assistant, and he feels so much more prepared compared to his classmates when he started dental school, because he knows terminology, he knows procedures, he knows the steps for everything. So it was just easier for him to comprehend basic material compared to someone who hasn't worked as a dental assistant, doesn't have that experience. So I definitely encourage you to get a dental assisting job. I don't want to be sexist in any sort, but I'm not gonna lie, it is harder for guys to get a dental assisting job. Unfortunately, it was hard for him to get his job because he kept getting rejected by people saying that, oh, like, we prefer a female for this job. But it's always important to try. I have a lot of friends who are guys, obviously, and have gotten dental assisting jobs or shadowing. You can start as shadowing and then get promoted to assisting. So I definitely would say keep applying, don't get discouraged. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a reality.
Yeah, for shadowing, right now I'm doing volunteering probably already like 2 months in the dentistry, and I was just planning to like about dentist assistant, so I just joined to see like is there any helpful things like for I know that there should be like certification, and I also one of my friends recommended the Valley Dental Assisting, so yeah, I'm planning to like take the classes maybe during the spring break to like put everything together.
Yeah, you should.
But
I think
thank you.
that would be a great opportunity for you.
All right, thank you so much. And by the way, as I said, I see like the Zoom meeting is recording, right?
Yes.
Where I'm gonna be able to find the recording.
It's gonna be
After the-
posted on our YouTube channel. So I can put the like link at the bottom after.
Yes, thank you so much.
And then also there was another question in the chat that said, where can we find the link to apply for the Explorer program?
So it will be on the USC website. If you do go to Google and just type USC Dental Explorers, it'll show you last year's link, but it should update in June. Also, you can reach out to Christine Wade. She is the admissions counselor for USC, and she will be able to give you more information on when they will release this summer's link. Perfect. I hope that answered your question.
I'll find the links and put them in the chat too.
Perfect. I can do that at the end as well if you can't find them. Just let me know. So I will move on. Okay. So as to USC Keck, when I started my master's program, my master's is a very science intense master's. When I decided to do a master's program, it was for personal reasons. It wasn't because I was lacking a GPA or anything. I actually had pretty high GPAs and science GPA graduating from UCLA, but it was more as to what am I doing in my gap year? What do I need to enrich my application? I have the GPA, I have the work experience. I got that all vetted by a lot of people in admissions. So I decided to, enrich my application by getting a master's program. At the end of the day, you have an extra degree, you're more specialized, and the field of stem cell is evolving. I want to be one step ahead to be able to care for my patients later on. The field of stem cell is going to be mostly approved in the field of dentistry sooner than any other medical field because of how great feedback they've been getting. And I would want to be one of the first providers to be able to administer that or use those new techniques on my patients due to, you know, like my background, my understanding of the mechanistic and developmental systems. So I decided to do that master. It wasn't going to hurt me. It hurt me financially, not going to lie. It's pretty expensive, but at the end of the day, I had an extra degree. I learned a lot, and it was a great experience in a sense from research because it's a very research intense master's. It's not you conducting the research, but more of you reviewing research. So I got the firsthand experience as to how to write a research paper, review research articles, understand methodologies, understand different scientific like methodologies or options. So that was a great plus for me. Work experience, I worked as a dental assistant part-time while doing my master's. It's pretty intense, not gonna lie, but you can get it done if you want to. I also did DAT tutoring because I ended up scoring in the 90th percentile. And I did pretty well also on my PAT. PAT is the perceptual ability section of the test. And since I was an architecture major a long time ago, I had a good visual application of stuff. And I was able to explain it pretty good to friends who ended up scoring also high. So I felt like I was qualified to teach that. I also started my business with my boyfriend. It's a VIP Shop 360. It's basically a 360 photo booth that we rent out. It's a great side hustle. I feel like once I start dental school, I won't really have time to work. So it's really good to have it booked on the weekends. We have 2 employees who help us, and it's a good side hustle to have. Finally, I've been focusing greatly on my social media. Some of you might have seen my social media. I have about 18,000 followers on TikTok. That's my main platform where I help a lot of pre-dental students or transferring students get enough information to help them apply or transfer. I started as a transfer page and then turned it into a pre-dental transfer page, and now doing mainly dental content on there. As to leadership and extracurriculars, I'm currently the class president as well as the social chair, and I also participate in a lot of research conferences. I decided to kind of relax a little bit this year and not do a lot of work, extracurricular, volunteering. You know, it's important to also have fun and enjoy your time during this gap year, per se gap year. So I did a lot of traveling, obviously starting my business, and I'm starting another one next month. And I also have been working on a lot of brand deals. So this picture right here that you see, I've been working with Fabletics. And I've also I'm working right now with loop companies. Loops are basically the glasses, the magnificated glasses that you need to become, to work on patients when you're a dentist. And I have that collaboration coming up soon. And I've been just enjoying life a little bit, enjoying what I love to do, what I'm passionate about. And this group right here is a group of people, my friends that we travel with, we have fun with. So I think it's important to kind of take a step back and remember that, you know, you also need to have work-life balance, and in our sense, school-life balance. So definitely have fun, enjoy your life, and that's the only way for you to, you know, stay sharp on what you want to do. Application timeline. So now let's talk about the application. Enough about me. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what I did, because I know these questions always tend to pop up, but I wanted to talk about the application timeline, when to do what, and how to get ready for dental school or applying to dental school. So I would recommend you, and this is what has worked great for me. A little background, I applied last year. I didn't have a great DAT score, so I ended up getting waitlisted and never got off the waitlist to dental school. So I had to take time to take a step back and see what went wrong, what I could have done better, and it was definitely my DAT. I retook my DAT, and I would tell you, and a lot of people ask me this, Sharen, what changed between the first time and the second time you took your DAT? And I think it was the first time I took it, I was so focused on getting a good score that I ignored my health, my mental health, how I felt. I was always so depressed, always so tired, always so anxious, angry. I could not like trust myself or believe in myself. So that led to me performing poorly and getting waitlisted. Especially if you're focusing on California schools, you need to be on top of it. It's very hard to get into California schools in general, but it's not doable. So what I did the second time was I put myself first, because I knew by putting myself first, I'll be able to actually focus on the dental admissions test and do better. So I would wake up, I would allocate 2-3 hours for myself, go work out, come back, make breakfast, have my coffee, and then start studying. That would be 9-10 p.m. Fine, it's fine. That's okay. I would study. I would be more energized, feeling better that I moved. I moved my body in the morning, because I'm going to be stuck on that chair for 8 hours a day. So I felt so much more comfortable, so much more confident. I removed all negative energy. I did words of affirmation. I know it might be silly for some people, but like, trust me, the more you say you're gonna do good, you're good at it, you're gonna get into dental school, the more positive things are gonna happen in your life. So that's what I did. And I ended up scoring 5 points higher, 90th percentile. I got into the schools that I interviewed in, and I feel like the biggest thing you can change to achieve your goals is your mindset. I cannot stress enough on that. So what I did, and this is based off of my experience, and a lot of people have agreed that this works best. This is a good timeline to follow. So January, June, study and take the DAT. Make sure to take the DAT at least by August. August is still like stretching it, so take it by July latest. April, May, ask for letters of recommendation. Start writing up your personal statement. The easy thing about dental school is that the personal statement question is the same every year, and it's why dentistry, so you can start working on it earlier on. May, June, create your account on ATAS. ATAS is the portal where you apply to dental school. Make the account and then begin filling the application. It opens, I believe, May 15. You cannot submit it until June 1st. So that's great time for you to get familiar with the platform, send your personal, your letter of recommendation request through the portal. So it's a great way to have everything figured out. So when June 1st comes, the first thing you're going to do is submit your application. Submit your application and complete your secondaries between June and July. If you apply in June, you'll get your secondaries about July, because you need to pay your secondary fees, and then you'll get your secondaries. So this is different than medical school. In dental school, everyone's going to send you secondaries. In medical school, not everyone gets secondaries. So once you pay your secondary fee, you'll get your secondary application in dental school. And that's separate cost than the primary fee that you pay for dental school. July, December, you will start attending interviews. Earliest interview I've seen sent out has been July. And latest would be like a week before December 15, which is when the decisions are released. So you'll attend interviews between July and December. You will not hear back until July 15, because that's when schools are allowed to release acceptances. After December 15, it's rolling basis. So then you start hearing if you're waitlisted, rejected, accepted. And if you interview anytime between December to April, you can hear an acceptance as soon as the same day or maybe 2-3 months later. So after that, it's rolling. Before that, you will not hear until December 15. And then December 15 is when you hear back, you receive your acceptance, rejection. If accepted, respond to the acceptance offer and pay your deposit. If you're waitlisted, wait until January 1st, then send a letter of intent to the school that you want to attend, or just continue expressing interest all throughout until April to show that you are caring about the school, you want to attend that school, and why you want to attend that school. But just make sure that it's not a letter of intent. So I'm going to go a little in detail after these about each.
Someone did have a question.
Yes,
I think
go
in
ahead.
the slide you had listed like the latest you should probably take the exam. I think they're asking about the DAT. Latest by August. Someone wrote, is it too late to take it in September? Which I think they might just want to know like how long it takes to get exam scores, what schools are looking for when you're applying, like when they need those scores by.
Definitely. So it is a little late. I'm not going to lie. Unless you have like a 98th percentile, it's definitely late, just because I can tell you some schools have like, okay, this person took the GAT between this time and this time, then they're going to get an interview first. Some schools are like that. Some schools are like, no, it's very ruffled. So you can't really know. But most of the time people have applied in September have not heard until December. You will still get an interview probably after December if you have a great application, but you will not get it before December. And the con of doing that is that classes will be halfway full. So you have a less chance of getting in compared to when the class is still not full pre-December and you get a pre-December interview. There's two types of interviews, pre-December, post-December. Pre-December interviews are better just because the class is empty. They're trying to fill it. And then once December hits, admission acceptances are out in December 15, then the class is semi-full. They still need to fill it, but you have a 50% chance of getting in compared to what you would have had before December. Does that make sense?
They said thank you.
Of course. Okay, perfect. Any other questions?
None right now, I think.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So January, June, a little bit about how I studied for the DAT. I'm a bootcamp ambassador, and that's DAT Bootcamp. That's one of the main programs right now you can study. I would definitely tell you to use either Bootcamp Booster. They have the same method. They teach you to take the practice test that mimics the actual dental admissions test. So when you go to take the DAT in person at the Prometric Center, it looks similar to what your practice tests have been through Bootcamp and Booster, which is amazing because then you don't feel like this anxiety of, I don't know how it's going to look like. I don't know how the lag. They even mimic the lag between each question and the other so that it's as realistic as possible. As I told you, I'm a bootcamp ambassador. I used to have a 15% off discount code. It expired, but if you guys are interested, I can definitely reach out back to them and ask them for a new discount code, and I can share it with Anya and Mono, and they can share it with you if you guys want. And then as for DAT Booster, it's cheaper than Bootcamp, same quality. If something I used both at the same time, little hint, no one really knows this, but if you do get financial aid right now, and you show them that you get financial aid, they might be able to give you a small discount. Don't quote me on it. It has happened to a few people. I've gotten it with Booster, so you can try. It doesn't hurt. You can just reach out to customer service and they'll tell you what you really need to do. I studied from June 25th to August 18, and that was just personally what I had time for because I graduated June 19, and then I started school the weekend after August 18. So that's the only time I had to take it, and I didn't have more time. I do not recommend you to do that because I did not take days off. I studied every single day from 9 to 10. I would not recommend you to do that. It's good to follow the program that Bootcamp has day to day. It'll help you to stay accountable, and it'll keep you on track. And then I would study from 9 to 10. Do not recommend that either. Just who I am. And I would recommend you to actually study 2 to 3 months. 6 months is a stretch. You don't need that much time. But if you feel like you personally need it, take it. Like, don't quote me on it. Like some people I've known, some people have studied 2 weeks for the test and have done great. Some people have studied 6 months and have done the same thing. So it really depends on how you are as a studier. Be consistent, don't lag. I've had friends that would study for a week, not study for 2 weeks, study for 3 weeks, skip a month. You can't do that. You need to be very consistent and very on point and so focused because repetition is key in the DAT. Once you understand the type of questions they're asking, you'll get it, even if you don't know the answer. Sometimes I'll have questions where I'm like, I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like it's this because of how the question is written. So be consistent as much as possible. Review both wrong and correct answers. If you feel like you've been lacking in scores, then I would recommend you to review wrong and correct answers and make flashcards of the wrong answers. And before starting to study the next day, review all the flashcards of the wrong things you got. Repetition is key. Again, that was the only way I was able to reduce the amount of mistakes I got in my tests. Prioritize your mental health. We already talked about that. It's very important to prioritize yourself, your workouts, what you do. If it's jogging for you, if it's reading a book, if it's meditating, do it. Whatever you need, take that hour or two before studying and do that. Take one day off each week. Take it for yourself. Go out, go on a trip, go on a staycation if you can, or I don't know, like you can want to take a cooking class, do it. Just do something that has nothing to do with studying and change your routine that day so that your body can reset. And seek help from the tutors on bootcamp or booster, and don't brush off concepts you don't understand. If there's something you don't understand, just don't say, oh, I'll get it later on. No, you're going to get it that same day and move on so that you can worry about the mistakes you're doing and not concepts that you do not understand. They have free tutoring. There's a question you don't understand. Tutoring is not like they'll explain to you everything in detail and meet with you. But if you have a question or a concept you don't understand, they'll write you a paragraph explaining what is it that you're getting wrong or how you're thinking wrong. They'll help you think the right way. So take advantage of it. You're paying for it, do it. Perfect. April, May, you would need to reach out for letters of recommendation. So for dental school, most dental schools, some are different. You need 2 science professors and 1 non-science/dentist as recommended. This is not what I use, but this is a good format. Screenshot that if you want to reach out to a professor about a letter of rec for dental school. I found this on Reddit, and I think I followed something similar to that when I wrote mine. I spoke to my professors in person. I think that's a better way for them to, like really know who you are over email. Especially when I was at UCLA, there was a 300 student class. It made it hard for the professor to know who you are. But when they see you in class, they know who you are. So talk to them in person. After talking to them in person and them agreeing, follow up with an email about all the information that they need. So write details and then what do you need them to put in that letter of rec. Does that make sense? And any questions on that? I know usually people have questions on letters of rec. No?
Yeah, I think everything is clear.
Perfect. Let's move on. Personal statement. Easy. It's basically white dentistry. These are the 13 things I needed to focus on. If you really want to know and hear about my personal statement, I would love to share it with you. You can reach out to me on my Instagram down there. I'll share you my personal statement. You can read it. I'm big on not gatekeeping. My page is so transparent on TikTok. You'll find all my GPA, my DAT score, everything. I'm very big on telling you about everything because I believe that gatekeeping is just, not nice. You really need to know and be realistic with yourself and set realistic expectations for yourself. So I was looking for that when I was applying to know what schools to apply to, what schools not to apply to. So if you need it, let me know. I'll share it. I'd love to do that. I have no problem with that. But start early and use a hook. Have a timeline. That was the biggest advice I got from a PhD writing student. Have a timeline and be consistent. Like, don't start talking about, I did this in my childhood, and then at 23, I did this, and then I went at 11, I did that. No, like go with a timeline. Let's say you have a medical condition, which was my case. I had a medical condition at this age. At that age, I had this, that, and have a clear timeline as to what happened for the events back to back. Your reader doesn't know your story. You know your story, but you want to make it as clear so that they understand your timeline and what has happened to you and why you want to pursue dentistry. Be authentic. Don't go to the simple, basic stories. Be yourself. And just as raw as your story can be, use that. Don't mimic anyone's story just because they got into dental school. When you set realistic expectations for yourself and you talk about whatever has happened to you, you will be more authentic. And I've heard this directly from admissions offices where they can tell if a story is fake and a story is real. So don't fake it. It'll just harm you. Just say like realistically what happened and why you fell in love with dentistry. Focus on your strengths, obviously, but don't repeat don't repeat your application. They already can see your application. Put in your personal statement whatever is not present in your application. I do some reviews for personal statements, and I see a lot of students who repeat the extracurriculars they put there. Don't do that. This is a space for you to show what is not present on those other categories. Talk about yourself. Connect with the admissions committee on a personal level. So don't repeat information, and explain examples in like very clear manner. So if you're stating a statement, just don't say, oh, like I got sick. How did you get sick? What was the condition that you got sick with? How did it impact you? So give concrete examples and show them what happened, how you fell in love with dentistry, the experiences, the exact experiences you had, and just don't like tell them in a very brief manner. Be concise and edit. Don't think the first one you did is amazing. Have 10 people review it. Have professors review it. Every single person is going to find something else to edit. So do that, and always talk positively about your experiences and never negatively. Good? All right, moving on. May, June. So this is the ATS basically account that I was telling you about. This is where you create your account. You will do a new account, username, password, and then you can do your application right here. So you'll have a personal information where you have to fill in address, all the basic stuff, academic history, where you put all the courses that you took, the schools that you attended, supporting information. I don't remember what was in that section, but probably transcripts, if I'm not mistaken, or like official documents or ID and stuff. Then program material is basically the schools that you're applying, and you need to fill separate information or like small essays for each school you're applying. And those are primaries, not secondaries. And make sure to submit this by June 1st. I would say you're still safe mid-June, but you can start submitting it on June 1st. How to pick what dental school to apply to. This is the biggest question I get. There's two resources actually. One is through the Dental Educational Society. It's through DIA, and it's called the DIA Dental School Explorer. I think it's $35. You get access to it for a year. You sign up, and it gives you exact data from each dental school you're applying to, and it'll tell you basically what was the average GPA, average science GPA, average DAT score, 5th percentile, 95th percentile of students admitted. So that will kind of give you a concrete look or idea into what school to apply to. And that's how I did my list. And then for DAT Booster, it's a free resource. You just type dental school statistics DAT Booster, and you can see also the same thing. I'm not sure how accurate this is compared to DIA, because this is the official one. But if you still don't want to pay for it, it's a good resource to have. Secondaries. Not all schools have secondaries. Some schools have it. Loma Linda's was the longest for me. And keep in mind, Loma Linda is a religious school. So a lot of the secondary questions that they ask you is about religion and how it ties to dentistry. And NYU, it was a question similar to the one that was on the primary. So I just reiterated everything I had there. And Roseman had a thing called Kira assessment. We'll talk about it later. It's basically a new type of secondary that some schools want to see how you are, and then they'll invite you in for an interview. Respond very promptly, read the instructions carefully, make sure you answer every single part of the question clearly, be strategic in how you're answering questions. Don't repeat the same information in every single question asked. Give new examples. Show your enthusiasm, show them how much you love their school, how much you care about attending and becoming a doctor there. Highlight your strengths, obviously. Personalize your responses, give clear examples, and be concise. Ask for feedback and follow up on the schools that you have sent secondaries and not heard interviews back. Follow up, be like, I'm interested, I sent my secondary. Is there anything else I can do to stand up for the committee? Sometimes they'll tell you, yeah, send us a letter through email, like explaining why you would want to get an interview. I've actually had a school ask me that. So you can do that. July to December, you'll start getting basically your interviews. Any questions? All right. So there's two types of interviews. Now there's this new type of interview that a lot of dental schools have been catching up on, and it's called the Kira Talent interview. The Kira Talent interview is basically an online interview where they ask you questions and you respond. So they'll record it for like a minute or two, and then you have a minute to prepare and a minute to answer. And then some schools do it fully like that through Kira, and that's their interview. So I think UCSF is doing it like that. And USC has it as part of one of their interviews, which is the MMI, multiple mini interviews. And then there's Roseman University that has it as a pre-vetting system. So you'll do your Kira, they'll see if they like you, if you're a good fit, and then they'll invite you in for an interview. There's one written or two written questions usually, and mainly recording. It's similar to Casper if you've heard about Casper, but this is what dental schools have been using lately. And then traditional interview, there's multiple mini interviews, which is like mini interviews, small questions you answer. And then PBL, which is problem-based learning. So usually I know that Lake Erie and USC offers it. They put you in a group and then they give you a case, and then you need to discuss it and then come up with conclusions. And then there's two staff that will monitor you and see how you do in a group setting and if you are fit for that type of education. I know USC is very big on PBL because that's how they teach. So you don't get the traditional learning experience, but rather they give you a case and then you need to learn through that case about the material being covered that week. So it's not traditional teaching. And then you have group interviews, which I had at LECOM, which is Lake Erie. And basically we did a multiple mini interview, but in a group setting. So we were, I think, 6 people, and we were asked the same question, and every single person had to answer that question in front of the other. So taking initiative is always important, but also giving chance to other students respond is also very important because you don't want to be a bully. Always send a thank you letter at the end. This was a sample of a thank you letter I sent to one of my interviewers. And basically, very concisely saying what you loved about your experience and how you think you'll be good fit for that school. December, April is when you will start getting your acceptance rejection waitlist. If you're accepted, congratulations, that's a big step. Relax and just follow the steps that admissions committee is going to send you. Send the schools you got it in, but did not pick a thank you letter and that you moved on with another school. I stress on that. It's important to say thank you, and I'm very pleased that you offered me admissions. But I will not be accepting your offer because at the end, if you want to pursue residency, you want to have that good relationship with the schools and you want to show them appreciation that, you know, they invited you, they selected you, but you are just going to have to pick another school because of your priorities and what you're looking into. Rejection, also send a thank you letter to the committee, just saying that thank you for taking the time for reviewing my application. And if you want, which I did, seek recommendations. Sometimes some of the schools will share the notes they've left you on your application as to why you didn't get in. Take those notes and work on that, because if this committee saw this, another committee might have also noticed the same issues in your application. So take those as good signs and like review them and work in case you have to reapply. Waitlist, don't get upset. It's better than a rejection. So congratulations. A lot of students would want to be in your place. Send a letter of intent to only one school that you want to commit to, and then send updates. Keep sending updates. Once a month, just reach out or call and be like, hi, my name is Sharen. I'm calling because I want to just continue expressing interest. This is a very top school of mine. I want to make sure that I get the best quality of education, and I think your school is the best fit for me. I just wanted to check on the wait list to see if there's any movement. Obviously, don't annoy them, but it's good to remind them of who you are. So these are the schools I applied to. I applied to out of state. I know some people don't like to apply to out of state. I think it was important to be diverse because it's very competitive again to get into California schools. It's not doable. Obviously, a lot of people end up getting into California schools, but it's also important to expand. I always say do not apply to 4 schools unless you have phenomenal stats. apply to a wide variety, you will not regret it. You will regret not applying to multiple schools, because then, you're narrowing your options. So this was my cycle outcome. I applied to 15 schools. I got ghosted by 4 schools, rejected to 6 of them, and interviewed to 5. If you're applying to 15 schools, a good amount is 5. Typically, students get 2 to 3 interviews, or maybe 5 interviews is a good amount of interviews. I got accepted to all 5 schools I applied to. I declined 2 of the positions because I did not want to move out of state, or it was just not my top out of state school. And then I placed my deposit to the first school because I hadn't heard back from the other 2. I was still waiting. And then once I heard back from the second school that I got in, I forfeited my deposit to the first one. And now I got into another school this week, and I'm considering between those 2 schools. So I placed my deposit for that school as well. And I'm still waiting, still deciding to see what school I'm going to commit to fully. So I'm opening the floor to Q&A. I'll stop sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask.
I think you mentioned something about how one of your volunteer experiences, you were it was something to do with Skid Row or something.
Yes, so it's
What
called,
was that? What was that through again?
so it's called the Union Rescue Mission. It's through USC. It's run by the USC Herman Ostrow School of Dentistry. And you can reach out to Dr. Mohammedi. I think I can provide his email if you guys want. He runs the program. He's an amazing faculty. He's in charge of it, and you can ask if you can actually volunteer there. I have a lot of friends that actually do it and they love it. So if you want, I can provide you with that email.
Yeah, will you please, if it's okay?
Yeah, of course. I just need to look into it and then I can text it to you after this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
We have a question in the chat. Someone's asking, how did you get the oral pathology assistant job?
So I was a UCLA student and I applied to work study. When I applied to work study, there were a bunch of work study opportunities available at the dental school. So I applied to all of them that were actually interesting to me. And then I kept following up and I landed my interview at the oral pathology department. I loved it. I work with the doctor very closely. He's a really good mentor of mine right now. And it was just a great opportunity through work study. But I do know that they do hire students part-time or full-time through just like a regular employment. So keep checking the UCLA Health Employment website, and I'm sure you'll be able to find some job opportunities at the dental school.
I think a lot of people got their questions out during the timeline slide. So there's nothing coming in right now. But if you wanted to drop your socials, because I know you have 2 major ones,
Yeah.
then we'll have your contact info as well, like on the YouTube video. So yeah, just let them know your Instagram, TikTok, and then I think it'll be good for today.
Perfect. So my Instagram is a good place to actually reply to DMs. It's harder to reply through TikTok. So if you want to ask questions, this is my Instagram. Let me share it with you. And then my TikTok is the same username. So you can just use the same username and you'll find me on TikTok as well. I have a lot of videos there, informational videos, funny videos, anything related to dentistry. So definitely, and I'm just starting a new series two new series on TikTok. One of them is basically interviewing different dental students from different schools. And then I'm also starting a new series, which is how I'm preparing for dental school and the research I'm doing for the stuff that I need so that I don't make the big financial burden the wrong way, like picking loops, getting important materials that you need for dental school ahead of time. It can be very costly. One thing I didn't talk about in this presentation was that dental school is very, very costly. So make sure that you are aware of that. Tuition can be starting $50,000 a year up to $150,000 a year for tuition. So keep that in mind as well. But if that's it, we can wrap it up. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. I would love to discuss, and I can also do consultations such as like giving my opinion on your application, what you can fix on your application. So if you're interested in that, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
Of course. Thank you for having me.